Different setup, Country Family Podcast, Clued on, and I'm here with my homie, my returning friend, Sensical Sense. What's going on, bro?
How you doing, man? Been a while.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's been a while, man. It's if you haven't tapped in already, make sure that y'all go back and check out the last time Sensical Sense was on Country Fan Mail. That was what about a month ago, month and a half ago, maybe.
Yeah, about that. Yeah, yeah.
Yep, yeah, we
Mm.
definitely talked about some real stuff, man. Talked about like every conversation we have is always real, man. And yeah, that's why we're here today. You know what I'm saying? To continue on those conversations and get it going, man. So like what's been going on with you, man?
Well, I've been busy with the show. I have been so busy with the show. Uh, I'm in the middle of making a program where I'm inspiring, skillful talented, skillful Africans and Africans who are innovative. I want to give them some shine in my platform, in my Instagram, everywhere. So I'm busy organizing that. There are so many people who are so talented here in Africa and black people all over the world, and I would like to shed light on that particular aspect of Africans. So I'm really busy with that. Yeah.
Word, man. I mean, I've been seeing like every time I'm scrolling and I just going about my business, I definitely see the videos popping up. You've been definitely putting out the content, man. And that's the one thing, man, about this content creation world is that you got to be consistent. You got to continue to
Yeah.
put out things. Sometimes you might not even know what you're going to talk about, or don't even think you have anything to talk about, but you still got to put something out there. You know what I'm saying? How do you choose
Mhm.
your topics?
Based on what inspires me, you know, like this actually tomorrow I'm releasing a very introspective episode about Miriam Makeba, the greatest African musician to ever live, and the person who took African music to a global stage. So people need to know her. People need to know her legacy. People need to know that the reason why Afro beats and Amapiano, basically the reason why global African stars like Burna Boy and Wizkid are popping right now worldwide is because of people like Miriam Makeba who took African music to a global stage. So I would really like to shed light on Miriam and to really introduce this generation to Miriam Makeba. Yeah, and so yeah, and like previously I did the hip hop episode, and I went hard on hip hop because I'm hip hop. I love hip hop, and it makes me sad that people are celebrating 50 years of hip hop, but we don't have a union. We haven't taken ownership of hip hop. We haven't had a conversation on how we can make hip hop positively impact the community content wise. And hip hop was built on four principles: peace, love, unity, and having fun. We've only uh, we've only maintained one. We've broken peace, love, unity. So my question was, why are we celebrating 50 years of hip hop? And yet we have broken the very principles that built hip hop, that was set by pioneers like Africa Bambaataa and the Zulu Nation.
Yeah,
And yeah, it just shows you where we are as a people. We like celebrating things. Hip hop needs to be celebrated for getting this far,
yeah.
but getting celebrated, like the way we are celebrating it is like it has achieved something tangible in the community, yet it hasn't. So that's
You
something
think
that
you,
I.
you think that the celebration is a little bit too, what's the word? What's the best word to say? Preemptive. Like you think it's too fast. Like you know what I'm saying. Like as far because like so I understand. Okay, so I put it like this. I understand where you're coming from. I understand where you're coming from on a few different points, and then there's other points where it's like I'm not gonna say I disagree, but I would say that I would take your point and shift it somewhere else. So the principles in which hip hop started on, those are that's law. That is, you can't change that, right? You can't change the past. It is what it is. Those are the principles that hip hop was stood on. I think the issue now is that majority, I mean 99% of the people that come new into the hip hop game these days don't even know who African Bambaataa is. They don't know who Cool Herc is. They don't know who, what I'm saying, they don't know, you know, they just don't. So I feel like now is the time for the other pioneers in hip hop, like the more recent pioneers, like J. Cole, like the Drakes, like people like that. If they start really pushing that narrative, like if they start really pushing that narrative, then the masses will have a better opportunity to listen to it. Because I mean, because nobody's gonna listen to DJ Cool Herc right now. I mean, he just dropped a diss. I think that was him. He just dropped a diss CD and had some diss tracks against Eminem. Was that Cool Herc?
That was that
Melly
was Melly Mel.
Melly Mel. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But to that point as well, he's from that same camp, and it's like it sucks because unfortunately the hip hop culture is really the only musical culture that we don't respect our OGs. We don't respect people that came before us. Like Johnny Cash, he could walk into any room, anywhere, with any crowd, and people would go crazy. And he was, what I'm saying, he's oh. Versus if Melly Mel walked into a Drake concert, people are gonna be like, get the fuck off the stage. Like we want Drake, you know what I'm saying? So I feel like hip hop culture is really the only culture that really shits on our forefathers, which is really sad, but it's a reality. How can we get that message from our forefathers to the new generation?
Yeah, that's very true. But can you imagine one thing, Clue, we like I did. If you watch the episode, there's a part where I say the if you add the top 26 richest rappers and
Mm,
richest hip hop personalities, top 26 black ones, you will get over $7 billion. But that's their net worth.
yeah.
But they can't even sacrifice even less than 5% of their money to start a union. Listen, Spotify is busy. Listen, I'm a musician, right? Spotify, if you Google now, Spotify pays people cents to a dollar. And if you Google, yeah, if you Google, it's 0.003 to $0.005 a stream. How is that possible? You know why? Because Spotify will forever do this for as long as we are disorganized and for as long as we don't have a union to combat them. You understand? Labels have been. Listen, we're all students of hip hop. We have had endless stories of rappers being ripped off and conned by record labels for over 50 years, and we haven't even built a union to challenge record labels, and top 26 wealthiest hip hop artists put together form a net worth of over 7 billion. Oh, come on, man. And why are we so what's the need of celebrating 50 years of hip hop while we can't even organize to form a union that can at least protect artists?
And the thing with that is it's kind of like what makes being an artist in the record industry different than like a regular job, but at the same time very similar. So it's like with a regular job, you see the job ad, you apply for it, you have an interview, you get selected, then so y'all talk rates, you get selected, and then you work for a little bit, then you get your first check. Versus in the music industry, or at least with hip hop, when it comes to signing and shit like that, you don't really see a job ad. You put your shit out there. People see it. They're just like, hey, I want to hire you. They talk to you about it. They talk rates, and they say, based off of how talented you are, how far we think you can go, we're gonna give you all this shit right now. And because you're gonna be so talented, you'll eventually work it back. You'll eventually work it back to us. And if you don't, then I don't know. We'll figure it out at that point. When it comes to trying to make a union, when majority of the people Now, granted, we're definitely shifting to a place where so many people are not dealing with record labels anymore. People are realizing that they don't need to do record labels anymore. But ultimately, the record labels still do majority of the pushing out here. They're still the pushing man. So with that, until we can get from under the record labels 100%, until people can stop signing these 360 deals, as they like to call them, as soon as people can stop, taking these crazy advances that just don't make any sense. You know what I'm saying? I can't remember what artist it was. I want to say it was Big Sean. I might be wrong. I'm seeing somebody tall. I can't remember, but he was given an advance, or he was given the opportunity to take an advance for like, I don't know, $800,000, and he was like, "Nah, I'm good. I'm worth more than that." And he stayed doing. Oh no, that's what it was. Young Dolph. It was Young Dolph. He was given.
Rest in peace.
He was going to be given an advance for a couple million. Denied. He kept pushing out because he was like, "No, I'm worth more than that. I'm worth more than that." Because I mean, literally, so much worth so much more than that. And until you can understand that, which is unfortunate because so many people that come from the hip hop industry, a lot of them end up coming from situations where they don't really have too much, or they haven't really had too much at all. So when you have somebody coming to you and being like, "Hey, I'm gonna give you $1 million up front for this talent that you just been doing with your friends and you got big on Instagram or Facebook or whatever. I'm gonna give you $1 million up front, and then you can work that off over time." They're not thinking about the overtime. They're just thinking about that right then, right there. And if you owe somebody money, just like it's indifferent when you have a job, they technically owe you money because you put the work in first. That's why you have the right to make a union. In the industry, you technically owe the people up front when you go through the label, so you can't unionize, and it sucks.
It does, but that's where the union comes in. The union comes in and says, "Wait." So, for example, now people like, for example, I'm independent, so uh, the only thing that's standing, the only barrier is streaming platforms, and you can't tell me that streaming platforms are paying people cents to a dollar per stream. Something's wrong with that. Something, even Snoop said it, that how can you have millions of streams and get some little, even like Snoop said it. So uh, now the union comes in when they say, "Hey, you know what? Spotify, Tidal, whatever, you guys need to raise up the rates per stream.
Mhm.
You cannot pay people. Listen, you cannot tell me that you're paying people an average of 0.003 to $0.005 a stream. It is so insane. Yet Spotify is raking billions of profits every year.
It's
It
very
is
demoralizing.
yeah, exactly. It's very demoralizing. It's very demoralizing. And as far as a record label goes, some of these contracts are very shady. It contains a lot of technology, and now the union comes in by telling our artists, "Wait, before you sign that thing, we need to review it. We need
Hmm.
to make some, yeah, we need to make some adjustments, and we need to make sure that you get a good deal in this record label." If you're So that's for the people who are under record labels. If you're in streaming platforms, we say, "Wait, Spotify, it's either you do A, B, C, or D, or we form a class action lawsuit on you people."
Hmm.
So and then so these are the things that, and then union also help in pension schemes. You know that rappers have a and some rappers have a bad habit of spending money to a point where when they reach a certain age they go broke. Unions can come and say, "Wait, we're organizing a pension scheme, so for every amount of money you're getting, 5% is going to your pension account. So by the time you're this age, you and because I mean, let's be honest, not every rapper is hot forever.
I
Okay,
mean,
there's a
most
yeah,
rappers aren't
there's
hot for a
yeah,
long time at all. Yeah.
yeah. Some people have a 5-year career, 10-year career. If you're lucky, 15 to 20 years. And then after that, what do? You know, so the union comes in and says, you know what, when you stop being hot, your pension scheme is ready. At least you'll be able to enjoy your retirement. That's the organization I'm talking about.
And you know, I really feel like there's so many different ways, which is crazy because I hate the fact that we have to find different ways of doing things because we should be getting paid what we're owed. But when it comes to being an artist, there are so many different ways that a lot of these artists could be getting their bag that I really feel like they're not paying attention to because it's not the popular route. And so it's like for instance getting your songs making a PG song and getting it put into a game or a movie. People don't think about that. You know, a lot of artists aren't really thinking about, you know, how can I make a song that can be put into a movie that will literally last forever. I can stop making music right now and that movie is going to be played on Netflix, on Hulu, on whatever, everywhere, forever, and every time somebody's going to hear my voice, regardless of even if they know who the hell you are, they're hearing you, and you're getting paid residuals for that. Like little shit, like I said, same thing with video games. So many different artists get their stuff put in video games, and not just Grand Theft Auto where they let you say whatever the hell you want. Maybe
Hmm.
make a clean track, no curse words, and you can actually get it placed into Fortnite. And oh my God, imagine your game get your song get put into Fortnite, how big that would go. Commercials, Walmart commercials, Target commercials, all these different things like, you know, product placements. There's all these different ways that I feel like if well for one I know like I mean I'm working on my platform. I'm definitely, you know, working on my audience and getting a bigger platform, but if I had a bigger platform like right now, the things that I'll be able to do with it, you know what I'm saying? I always told, so, you know, I think I told my wife, I was like, you know, give me 10. I was like, if I get to 1,000 subscribers, then I'll get to 10,000 subscribers really quick. If I get to 10,000 subscribers really quick, I'll be at 100,000 subscribers even faster. Because it's like you just more and more people to build on, more and more people to share that message with. That's why I really wish that hip hop artists would just know their worth more, man. Like just
Yeah.
know their worth more. Just understand
Know your
more
worth.
what the fuck they got. You know,
Yeah.
like you can literally make a song and have the whole world singing this shit because it's that catchy and it's that good, and you think that you don't have power? It's crazy.
Yeah, so that's the only thing, and people were getting at me on Instagram because I was because you know it's the truth is too hard to handle. The truth is too hard to handle. Very few people are coming out and saying these things. I was so disgusted when I saw people celebrating. I'm like, why are people celebrating? You know, special days are meant for people celebrate special days because of the significance it brought to the community, and not just intangible but tangible and systematic significance. Like people celebrate Independence Day here in Kenya. We celebrate Independence Day because at least it symbolized that we were out of British colonial system in a way. Uh,
Mhm.
uh, 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 you know, South Africans celebrate Independence Day because they got out of apartheid. So people celebrate special days because of the benefits that that day brought to the community. I'm trying to figure out one thing systematically, not hip hop brought us. You know, yeah, it was made by black people and it made it this far. Yeah, fine, but give me tangible benefits of what hip hop has brought to the community in terms of economics, in terms of bringing African people together global wise. Because let me tell you something, hip hop, hip hop is in a position whereby it can be a really pivotal tool in terms of Pan Africanism. When you go to any place in the world where black people are, there's hip hop.
And
When
honestly,
you
that's what I would say to answer. Sorry, not to cut you off, but that's what I would say to answer your question. He was like, "What's that one?" tangible, like some tangible proof that hip hop is actually doing it, that would probably be my answer. Is the fact that you can go anywhere, any place, any country, any corner of this world, and if you find anybody that is assimilated a little bit into that culture, they're gonna know something. I mean, there's probably, natives in the furthest. I don't know. I know there's people that don't live on Antarctica technically, but there's people probably somewhere near out there that know who Snoop Dogg is,
Yeah,
just because of whatever the fuck, whatever reason. He's probably literally the probably most globally recognized hip hop artist ever, or at least right now. So it's like I that that would be the answer for me, because I feel like, being an African American, we always have to we're in this. I think we talked about it before. We're in this struggle. We're in this kind of, like, our whole life we're in this struggle where we understand that, okay, we're American, we're born here, I get it, but at the same time our people come from a place that we may or may not know where exactly that is. So we're trying to understand that part of our life, but then we have this beautiful thing that we kicked off in this country called hip hop, that is our baby, that we're even taking back to the motherland, and the motherland is loving it and doing things with it. However, and also that same exact culture sometimes is what's tearing us down from the inside. So it's like, I feel like whether it's black people or even African people, we have the most difficult, fucked up, crazy internal struggle that people really would never be able to understand, because it's like, I was happy that people were celebrating 50 years of hip hop. However, I understand where you're coming from of being like, so what do we do now? Now
yeah,
that we've
yeah,
seen everything that's happened, what do we do now?
yeah. What do we do now? And what you just said is important. But me, my idea is that what has it done to the community in terms of economics, in terms of African unity, in terms of African organization, in terms of social responsibility? I mean, let's be real. Hip hop has caused more bad than good in the black community. And I'm saying this from a position of first of all, I'm a hip hop artist, that's number one. And number two, it has done more bad than good in terms of violent gangster rap music, in terms of toxic female, in terms of toxic female graphic, dirty rap content, which is poisoning young African girls. I mean, like I said in the episode, unless we are okay with 12 and 11-year olds twerking in the streets. I mean, if we are okay with that, and if you ask them, hey, where did you learn that? I learned it from this female rapper, I learned it from that. So if we are okay with that, then there's something wrong with our minds. But hip hop has done some good, and I would like to, and I said it in the episode. I shouted out KRS-One for organizing the Stop the Violence movement in 1989, where he released Self Destruction and all that. And at least so we have tried, and KRS tried,
I
and
mean, there's
it's
been more recent things than that. I mean, I mean, that's 1989. I mean, Kara's. I mean, there's been. I'm not trying to shit on that, but there's been more recent efforts than just then. And honestly, I don't necessarily feel like it's just. I don't think it's hip hop is the issue. I think that it's the people who are running and controlling hip hop that is the issue,
exactly,
because
exactly.
there's plenty of shit out there. People figure out. People choose Blueface over Lupe Fiasco. People choose to listen to NLE Chopper over Big Crit. People make
Hmm.
those decisions, and there's nothing wrong with that. But those are conscious decisions, and also those are conscious decisions based off of what's being promoted.
Yeah,
If those conscious, those positive artists are not being promoted, then that's what people are gonna see. Same thing with the women who what I'm saying, who twerk and do all this shit. I'm not hating on that either. I mean, sometimes I like to see it. However, and also what's being massively pushed and massively promoted, because you don't see women like Rhapsody being promoted.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? You
yeah.
don't you don't, you don't see her shit being put out there in a major way, where she's not doing any of that shit. You know what I'm saying? She's not doing any of that shit, but but that's not what. So I don't think that. I think that that's the issue that we haven't yet grasped when it comes to hip hop and it comes to the culture is that though hip hop is a genre of music, hip hop is not a monolith. Hip hop is so multifaceted. There's so many different ways that you can do hip hop, that you can do rap, whether you want to be a promiscuous female rapper or you want to be a conscious female rapper, whether you want to be a Christian female rapper, you want to be a punk rap female rapper, you want to be a gangster rapper, you want to be a nerd male rapper. There's all these different, all these different these different
Mhm.
ways, these different ducks that you can be in. So my
But
issue
some of
isn't
those,
with
yeah,
hip hop; it's with the powers that be that actually
the powers
control
that be.
what the fuck gets out there.
Yeah, 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 and that's why, and that's why I said the first thing I said in the video. Does it make sense to celebrate 50 years of hip hop if we haven't done number one? If we haven't done ownership, ownership. We need to have ownership, and by ownership now, nobody's buying CDs, so distribution CDs. So we need to own our own streaming platforms.
Streaming
Number two,
platforms and masters.
yeah, yeah. We need to get away from the white music industry because they're the ones who are promoting this negative content, and in return, it's ruining the black community. And like I said, they are pushing for women who show more skin than the women who are showing skill. So and I said this, any workplace that requires you to compromise yourself so that you can reach a higher level in that workplace is an unsafe workplace. And that's exactly what's happening. Basically, what the industry is trying, what these white music executives are trying to tell you is that for you to blow up in the industry, you need to show some skin, which is so obscene and it is so sad. And so me, my idea is very simple: ownership, number one, forming a union. But before we have ownership, let's form a union first to protect the artists who are under the labels, and us independents who are under the streaming platforms. That's just what I was saying. Yeah.
For sure. I man,
Yeah.
I think that I think I've been saying it for for a little minute, and when it comes to um there being like a major shift in the industry, I think that for one, if any said shift happens, which I hope that it does, it's going to be a shock to the system. It's gonna definitely shock everybody's system, because if we really did pull out of promoting music to our white counterparts, then a lot, as much as I hate to admit it, it would affect hip hop for a while, because there's a lot of white people that listen to hip hop. And that's the thing about hip hop. That's why hip hop is so strong, because everybody listens to some form of hip hop. Everybody has ingested some form of hip hop in some form of their life, but not everybody has ingested country. Not everybody has ingested, soca, whatever the fuck. Not everybody has ingested all those things, but everybody has ingested some form of hip hop. So if we really did pull away and really just be strictly about us, I'm not saying that wouldn't be right, but it would definitely be a dip. There would be a dip for a while, and it could build back up.
But
But
first,
the thing
yeah,
is, like, when it comes to hip hop is so directly related to, tied into, and entangled with the actual economic plight of our people here.
yeah.
It's not like, a white person where it's like they choose to go do country shit. They choose to go make country music. Hip hop is literally like it's almost assimilated into your culture, regardless if you wanted to or not, because it embodies literally majority of the shit that we are going through as African Americans. So until the until the status, or more so until the position of African Americans change ultimately, then I don't see how the I don't see how hip hop is going to be perceived in a different way. You know what I'm saying? And it kind of it reminds me of that song. I was gonna say my song. It reminds me of that song by Lupe Fiasco called "All Black Everything." And he goes through this whole and it's a super dope song. You gotta listen to it. And he goes through literally saying everything. I mean, he says like, what if Hitler was black? What if and he was like a peaceful person? What if MLK was white and he did the he literally just flipped everything and he gave this completely different world view of what things would be like if things were just on the other foot. What if black people were the the top race, because as you know, as of right now, Beaver sees white people as like the top race, right? So what if black people were the top race and we
Oh,
pretty
we
much
were.
infiltrated every and we 100%, we know, yeah, 100%. But you know what I'm saying, in the economic global political aspect of things, what if that was really a thing? You know, what if Christopher Columbus was a black man that went over and fucked with the white indigenous? You know what I'm saying? Like, kind of, flipping it around type shit. So it's a really interesting concept. Um, but I mean, it's like like I said, until overall things change when it comes to black people and our positions and our places in this country, in this world, it's gonna be very hard to have people listen to hip hop differently.
That's very true. But it all starts with us because we built it. And even though white people listen to hip hop a lot, we are the ones who listen to it consistently. We are the ones who listen to it, yeah, consistently. It all starts with us. Let us organize, number one, form a union. Number two, for create ownership. And then we have a culture conversation.
Hmm.
I would like for every single rapper in this world to have like a conference and sit down and be like, "Whoa, let's have an honest conversation on how hip hop has been negatively affecting the community. Let's be honest with each other." I'm telling you, if we do that, there'll be major changes. But the problem with hip hop artists is that to converge them for meaningful discussions is hard, but to converge them for parties and for get-togethers is the easiest thing. You
And
can
that's what
see
I'm saying. It
that,
depends on who's bringing them together. It
yeah.
really depends on who's bringing them together. If you have KRS-One, what I'm saying, at this point in time, trying to be like, hey, everybody, come meet up in New York. We're gonna talk. Nobody's gonna show up. But if you have Drake, 21 Savage, Kendrick Lamar, Jay Z, fucking Hit Boy, all these other, you know what I'm saying, like Snoop Dogg. If you have all these people decide to come up, like literally, like a real true recent active summit of artists, then what you're saying could definitely happen. But it has to be people that have more impact right now. KRS-One's impact is never going to be diminished by any means. But it has to be people with like a little bit more of an impact right now, my personal opinion. I think we might have lost him. Not 100% sure. But yeah, I feel like I just, when it comes to, like I said, people just don't like to really listen. You know what I'm saying? People don't really like to listen to shit that isn't coming from the right person. So I feel like if you get the right people to really come and talk, you know what I'm saying, to the culture, you could really actually probably make some moves. But anyways, I think my guest got kicked out on accident. I'm gonna have to actually wind this down because yeah, we gotta get started for our day. It's like 7:40 something here. It's like 5 something at night over there on his side, I think. So anyway, so thank y'all for watching. Thank y'all for tapping in. Clue to Don, Country Family Podcast. My homie right here or right here, depending on where you're watching. That is my homie Sensical Sense. He has a channel called Does It Make Sense? He drops a lot of dope ass topics and just talking about it, things that are culturally wrong, worldly wrong, economically, Africa, United States hip hop music, all this things like that. And he just talks about it. Just wants to understand y'all's perspective. So yeah, make sure that y'all tap in with him. I appreciate y'all. Much love. See y'all later.